The most profitable business in human history does not drill for oil. It does not write software. It sits on a monthly statement in a line few ever read closely. It is the balance you did not finish paying. For 70 years, that line has grown into a machine that turns ordinary spending into permanent revenue. And the strangest part? The machine does not need you to spend more. It only needs you to wait. Picture two neighbors with the same card, limit, and store. The first pays the full balance every month. To the bank, that customer is almost worthless. The second carries $4,000 and pays a little each month. That customer is the entire business model. Same plastic, same purchases, opposite roles. One is a cost. The other is the product. Here is the uncomfortable part. The system does not care what you buy. It cares only whether your balance survives until the next statement. As of late 2025, 47% of cardholders carried a balance month to month. If you sit in that half, you are not a spender to the issuer. You are an asset that pays yield. Most never learn which role they were assigned. The mechanism has a name: revolving credit. The industry sorts customers into two camps. The ones who carry balances are revolvers. The ones who pay in full and generate no interest are called deadbeats. In this business, the disciplined customer is dead weight, and the indebted one is the prize. The profit was never the purchase. It is the leftover that rolls into next month. The engine that keeps the balance alive is the minimum payment. On most cards, it sits near 2% of what you owe. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau notes some issuers require as little as 1%. That number feels merciful. It is engineered. A payment that small barely touches the principal. So the balance and its interest meter survive almost intact into the next month. Now look at the same card from two heights. At the surface, it is convenience, points, a small reward at the register. Underneath, one swipe feeds 3 revenue streams. The merchant pays a swipe fee. You may pay an annual fee. And if you revolve, you pay interest on top. One card, 3 tolls, only one visible to you. This is why the usual advice misses. Spend within your means assumes the danger is buying too much. But the real engine is not the size of the purchase. It is time. A balance that never closes earns money every single day. With the average rate on balance carrying accounts near 2.3% in late 2025. Time does the work, not your shopping. So the question that reframes everything is not, how do I spend less? It is this: what kind of business designs its most valuable customer to be the one who never finishes paying? To answer that, we go back to one afternoon in 1958 and a courtroom in 1978 where the machine was assembled. Every machine has a blueprint. This one was drawn in 2 places: a sleepy California city and a marble courtroom in Washington. Between them, they decided how much interest you could be charged and whether any state could stop it. The numbers that followed describe a vast, deliberate transfer of wealth. And once you see the blueprint, you cannot unsee whose signature is on it. Start with the scale. By early 2026, American card balances reached $1.25 trillion, the highest level since records began in 1999. In only 5 years, balances climbed by $507 billion. A jump of 66%. This is not a spending spree. It is a structure filling up. The structure begins on the 18th of September, 1958. That day, Bank of America mailed 60,000 active cards to residents of Fresno, California. No application, no request. It was called the Fresno Drop, and it introduced the revolving card. For the first time, a customer could carry a balance and pay a fraction, while interest compounded on the rest. Then came the legal key. In 1978, in Marquette versus First of Omaha, the Supreme Court ruled a bank could charge its home State interest rate to customers. In any other state, a bank in a state with no cap was now free. 2 years later, Citibank moved its cards to South Dakota, which had no limit. The rate ceiling, in practice, was gone. Ask why people stay trapped once rates climb. The answer is two documented biases. The first is anchoring. The statement shows a minimum payment, and the mind treats that figure as correct. The second is present bias, the pull to weigh comfort now above cost later. Together they make the smallest payment feel responsible, while the balance lives on. Now follow the money. In 2024 alone, Americans paid roughly $160 billion in card interest. Since 2010, the running total exceeds $2.1 trillion, more than all student loan debt. On top of that, merchants paid nearly $150 billion in swipe fees that year. Interest, annual fees, and swipe fees. Critics call it the triple dip. Here is the part that stings. The people who carry balances quietly fund the rewards of the people who do not. Your interest buys the airport lounge and cash back of the one who pays in full, and the burden is not even. Among the largest issuers, 15 banks charge top rates above 30%, costing heavy borrowers an extra $400 to $500 a year. The deeper your trouble, the higher your price. Say the quiet truth plainly. This is not a system that broke and trapped people by accident. It was designed, ruled on, and relocated state by state, until carrying a balance became normal and paying interest became routine. Nothing here malfunctioned. The machine is doing precisely what it was built to do. You cannot vote out a Supreme Court ruling. You cannot repeal the interest rate of a state you do not live in. But starting next statement, you can decide which side of this machine you stand on. What follows are 5 moves, not affirmations, mechanics. Each one flips you from the customer, the system, feeds onto the one it quietly fears. Principle 1. Become the deadbeat. Since 1958, every card has a grace period. About 3 weeks, where a balance paid in full owes 0 interest. Pay in full and the lender earns nothing. Carry $4,000 at 22.3% instead, and you hand over about $890 a year. Same card. The only variable is whether the balance dies each month. Principle 2. Kill the minimum payment anchor. On a $6,600 balance, the 2% minimum drags, repayment past 7 years and costs roughly $3,600 in interest. Ignore that figure. Set a fixed amount. $300 a month clears it in a little over 2 years and saves thousands. Choose the number yourself. Principle 3. Attack the rate before the balance. People watch the balance and ignore the rate, yet the rate is where the pain lives. On $5,000, every point of interest costs $50 a year. Moving from 22% to 10 is 12 points, $600 a year. One phone call can outperform a year of budgeting. Principle 4. Treat rewards as bait, not income. A 2% cashback card returns $100 a year on $5,000 spent. But 1 month of carrying that same $5,000 at 22% costs about $90 in interest. 1 month of revolving erases nearly a year of points. The reward is real. It is also the lure on the hook. Principle 5. Remove yourself from the decision. Anchoring and present bias only work in the moment of choice, so delete the moment. Set an automatic payment for the full statement balance, not the minimum. Willpower is unreliable. The system is patient. Automation is how you beat a machine that never sleeps. Now zoom out, because the structure will not move. The Marquette ruling still stands after almost 50 years. Proposals to cap rates at 10% keep stalling. By one estimate, every day the country goes without a cap, Americans accrue around $368 million in interest. The rate you face is not a market accident. It is policy, decided far above you. You cannot dismantle a 70-year-old machine from your kitchen table. But it profits from one behavior, the surviving balance, and that behavior is entirely yours to end. The system assigns you a role. The power you were never told about is that you can refuse it. The card is neutral. The balance is a choice. And the moment you make it, the most profitable business in history stops profiting from you.